Plugins make WordPress the popular CMS platform it is today. There are thousands of plugins out there, both free and premium. There's a lot of money to be made from plugins. So what exactly is a plugin? The simplest way of explaining it is that it's just some code that you or a developer wrote that extends the core of WordPress. Creating a plugin is actually quite simple. A lot of the basics are already taken care of for you. Before we start, I think it's important you're aware how WordPress loads plugins. 1. WordPress will first load the configuration file before anything else. 2. Next, the functions are loaded. Functions like add_action or WP_enqueue_styles. 3. Plugins are loaded afterwards. 4. WordPress will then start processing any code that needs to be processed and checks the URL for important information. This can be post data or AJAX requests. 5. Afterwards, translations are loaded. 6. Then the theme is loaded. 7. Lastly, the page content is finally loaded for the user. At the heart of every WordPress site is the configuration file. Let's open up the wp-config.php file. This file is the most important file in any WordPress installation. This file basically contains all your core settings, such as database login details, security hashes/salts, and other various settings you can set. In the resource section, I provide a link to the wp-config codex documentation. The sidebar contains a lot of notes related to this file. Unlike other core files, you're allowed to edit this file without much consequence. There are a lot of settings here, but we won't be going over them because for the most part, the default settings are already optimized for our site. However, there is one setting we should modify. Go back to the config file and search for something called wp_debug. By default, the value is set to false. Let's change this to true. I highly recommend you always do this during the development phase of any plugin or theme. When you're ready for production, be sure to change this back to false. If this value doesn't exist, then you can just add it in.